Welcome back with Geek Talk with Barnhardt 16, the podcast where we talk comic books, cosplay, toys, and all things geek every Friday. If you are new to this YouTube channel, do not forget to like this video, share it, and subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon for all the latest updates. And if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast on wherever podcasts are listened to, such as Spotify or Apple Podcasts, I am happy that you found my channel. So today's talk is going to be about American-Born Chinese, which is a graphic novel by Luen Yang. The graphic novel is also illustrated by Lark Pien, and the publisher was the First Second Press. And before I get into the graphic novel, I wanted to share with you that I've been cosplaying, as I mentioned in the last episode. And right behind me is the Boba Fett helmet that I've been making. And a little shout out to the creator Punish Props Academy, which is you can actually find him on YouTube. He does really awesome cosplays. I recommend you go check him out. There's a little shout out to him. He watching his videos helped me make this Boba Fett helmet right behind me, which I think is really awesome. And I'm really excited I'm almost actually done with it right now. All I need to do is put several parts on it, put the rangefinder and all that cool stuff. And I'm going to eventually Mod Podge that sucker, and I'm going to get it painted, and it is just going to be one fly-ass looking helmet. And I'm going to be wearing it and just sporting it at the Geek Gala, which is occurring in November. And I'm going to go out as Boba Fett, though, but it's going to be Boba Fett with a twist. It's going to be Swag Fett. Boba Fett looking all fly and everything. And, yeah, anyway. So back to American-Born Chinese. So before we actually get into American-Born Chinese, I wanted to give a little background on Luen Yang and Lark Pien. So Luen Yang was born in August of 1973. He's a Leo like me. And Lark Pien was born sometime in 1972. And Luen Yang started getting into comics at a pretty young age, and he actually made some during his formative years. After graduating college, he worked as a computer programmer part-time while publishing his first comic, and he also at one point worked as a school teacher. And when creating his first comic, he had a pretty unique method that he utilized. And he would draw sketches of one side while writing the narration and dialogues on the other side. He's also influenced by creators like Scott McCloud, Jeff Smith, Dave Sim, and Colleen Doran. And he self-published his first comic called Gordon Yamamoto and the King of Geeks. And both Luen Yang and Lark Pien are no strangers to each other. They actually collaborated on a lot of graphic novels, including the graphic novel adaptations of Avatar: The Last Airbender, The New Superman, Boxers and Saints, and Dragon Hoops. And Luen Yang he's actually also known for writing the graphic novel version of Superman Smashes the Klan, which is based on a series of radio serials that can actually still be listened to this day. You can actually find some on YouTube, and I think you can find some on the Library of Congress archive, I want to say. But, really interesting serials. I actually listened to them, and it's just about Superman taking on the Ku Klux Klan, and just really amazing series of stories. And as a Superman fan, one of my all-time favorites. It's up there with All-Star Superman and Superman Red Sun, even. So what is American-Born Chinese? American-Born Chinese is about three seemingly unrelated stories that culminate into a climactic twist. And the Monkey King was, based on the folklore of the Chinese folklore of the Monkey King. And it's about a monkey born out of a boulder and bestowed with martial arts abilities. And even though as his power is growing, he at some point has a lust of power. He wants to become a deity, if you will, a god. And this actually catches the attention of the Chinese god. Forgive me if I butcher this name. It's Seiyozu. And he ultimately punishes the Monkey King for his lust of power. He actually puts a boulder over him to the point where the Monkey King spends the next 500 years until he's freed by a monk who is in danger. And he ultimately becomes the monkey. He ultimately becomes the monk's disciple and messenger for Seiyozu. And a little fun fact and a slight tangent. The Monkey King has been influenced of several shows and medium and stories that we actually enjoyed in our childhood, such as the Dragon Ball series. So the character of Goku was loosely based on the Monkey King. it makes sense because, Goku has a tail and he turns into an ape whenever he looks at the full moon. Well, that's until his tail gets cut off. But anyway, slight tangent. So the next story brings us to Jin Wang, and Jin Wang's story is a coming of age story that we can all relate to, a story about fitting in. Jin Wang is a young Chinese American born to immigrant parents. He has to maneuver bullying and ridicule from his white American peers, and at the same time, he befriends a young Taiwanese kid by the name of Wei Chin Sun. And at first, he just pushes him away and just ostracizes him until he ultimately, over time, becomes friends with him. And Wei Chin becomes sort of a wingman of sense. Like, he helps Jin Wang win over this white American girl that he has a crush on. And in return, Jin actually helps Wei Chun acclimate to life in America. And things actually come to a climax when Jin tries to further explore his feelings for this girl while competing with a classmate for her affections. And all the while trying to also come to grips with his Chinese heritage and slowly but surely accepting himself for who he is. So you have, if there's anything he shares in common with the Monkey King, it's just that recognizing himself for who he is and like not totally over, trying to act like someone he isn't. So which brings us right now to the next story. The next story is Chin Ki, and Chin Ki is a Chinese stereotype, and he just so happens to be the cousin of a white American by the name of Danny. Chin Ki is a thorn at Danny's side because the former is the reason why the latter has to switch schools to avoid the humiliation and embarrassment that comes with being Chin Ki's cousin. Despite all that, Danny is a successful basketball player. He's really popular at school and makes a lot of friends. He's easy to get along with. But also his story comes to a climax when he finally confronts Chin-Ki and starts telling him to back off. So I'm not going to spoil too much of American-born Chinese. All I can say about this story is that it's really amazing. It's one of the stories I enjoyed, and what I enjoyed about it was just that story is seemingly unrelated, intertwined with a twist that gets the reader grounded. And it's a story that, it's a story that we can all relate to, I feel. It's just accepting and being oneself. And Jean the Wen Yang brilliantly uses the folktale of the Monkey King to teach the reader a lesson about wanting to fit in and loving oneself. And while intertwining that with the two other stories that take place in the present day. And Lark Pien's illustration is another thing that I feel grounds the reader, and that's something I wanted to mention too. Is just that it's the illustrations and the drawings are very childlike and cartoony, and that's what makes it so amazing. Scott McCloud once said that cartooning is a form of amplification through simplification, and a cartoon strips down to its actual image to its essential meaning as a way to amplify it. See, graphic novels like Mouse and by Art Spiegelman and Persepolis by Martin Strappy are a great example of this. They use childlike images. With Mouse, you see some of the characters are mice, some of them are frogs, some of them are dogs, some of them are cats. It's just a way to get the reader's attention and to get the reader grounded. Same with Martin Strappy's art too. In Persepolis, it's just childlike, but yet, that's what draws the reader in. And it's a really amazing visual technique, in my opinion. Really, really amazing. So this is American-born Chinese is one of those stories that we can all relate to. I mean, in terms of like growing up and like kind of, distancing ourselves from certain parts of ourselves, I feel, whether it's a certain culture or a disability or a hobby. But ultimately it's a story that, again, I think it teaches all of us to learn how to love and accept ourselves, especially Jin Wang's story. We see that, and also with the Monkey King, and even with Danny with Jin Ki's story as well. And so it's a real grounded graphic novel, in my opinion, and I give it like a 9 out of 10. And I know that's super generous, but I mean, it was just a great story. Everything from Jean Wang's writing to Lark Pien's illustrations, just somehow had a way to keep the story grounded. And Those are the many of the cool things about American Born Chinese, and I really hope to read it again sometime in the future. It's up there with my favorite graphic novels, including Asterios Pelip, Persepolis Mouse. Those are some of my favorite graphic novels, along with All Star Superman. As I mentioned before, Superman Smashes the Klan. That's up there, So I think it's a great graphic novel, and I hope to read it again sometime in the future. Thank you so much for thank you so much for listening and watching the Geek Talk with Barnhardt 16. I definitely am happy that you've decided to watch this channel. And again, if you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe to this channel, hit the bell icon for more updates. I'm looking at doing more videos of comic book reviews. I'm also going to... So I hope to do more videos and more comic book reviews. And matter of fact, in the next, I'm going to be having a podcast chat on the Geek Talk with Barnhardt 16 with comic creator Adam Barnhardt. And we're going to be talking about his comic, Macabre Mel. And I've read the synopsis on the Kickstarter, and I was totally hooked on the story. And it's going to be on Kickstarter. It's actually up right now. And so I've already backed it, and I'm going to put the link on my description so that way you guys can look at it and you guys can back the Kickstarter as well. And I'm also going to be doing more unboxing videos, and I'm looking at unboxing my Stag Shock action figure and also my Deku. And I might even do like a live video of me just creating assembling the Deku figure, which should really be fun. And I'm also going to be showing you like my Boba Fett helmet maybe, and maybe I might even do a cosplay, and I got several cosplays coming up. So thank you all for listening, thank you all for watching, and always say, stay ever so awesome. This is Brian from Merd16, signing out.